Missouri Thornton graduating senior. This also is done by faculty selection. So at this time, I'd like to present to Michelle Shaw these two scholarship awards. Michelle? In concluding, I'd like to say a little bit about each one of the seniors, because in working with them, we've had a lot of fun. We've gone through a lot of things. I'm going to start right in, and it won't take about 2 minutes. But who can forget Annette Statlander, who decorated our otherwise very drab government room with things befitting the holiday or the season, ranging anywhere from Thanksgiving turkeys to Easter eggs and whatever else. She helped tremendously in forming cohesiveness among this class, and also in helping to create a sharing and caring feeling with their classmates. Renee Coonan, who can be busier than she is? The first year here, I took Renee to Mason City with a group of other student body members, and she was the only freshman in their building, because that's only 10 through 12, and she conducted herself like she was a senior at Mason City, not like a freshman here at MT. And Michelle, I've already shared with you. And Pam Haspany happens to be the young lady with 49 credits. Need I say more about Pam and her direction? And Stacy, you know, how many times has she provided us with entertainment? And a hard-working girl, never forget the night of the fish fry. And by the way, parents and general public, thanks a lot for helping our seniors. You really came through. And certainly my girl Friday, Carrie, whenever I needed assistance, secretarial help, and sometimes even advice, I'd go to my girl Friday, Carrie Tours. And Marcia Butler, I'm sure that our office secretary, Connie, you know, is going to have a soft spot in her heart for many years for Marcia, because Marcia was the office runner and assistant, and we need those kinds of people. She didn't get much credit for it, but by golly, it was worth a lot. And Deb Dirks, I'll never forget well, how stubborn she was, because her interest is in art, and the group was going to Chicago, and she said, gee, I'd like to visit the art gallery. Is there any way I can? And I stalled her and so forth, and she said, if I can't go there, I really don't want to go. She was persistent, and sometimes we have to be persistent in life. So Deb, you've got that going for you. And Mike, I guess one of the things that stands out is the night that my wife and I attended the senior class play, and Mike played piano for us at intermission. My wife said when she got out of the car, gee, I'd pay double the price just to hear Mike play one more time. He is fantastic. And I'm very jealous of Mike. He plays a much better trumpet than I do. And Bryce and I have had a lot of fun through the years. Bryce Anderson washed every dish at the ice cream social. And Mike Lairdahl. I remember that whole day as this senior class and I prepared 106 gallons of homemade ice cream. I remember one time walking outside and it was cold, and here was Mike tending to 6 freezers at a time, and he was sticking his hand down in that cold, salty water, you know, to make sure that the ice cream came through. These kids, they have a lot going for them. And there was a young man who said, gee, if Deb can go, I'll make sure she's safe in Chicago, and I'll take the side for her. And Mike Laniger, I don't know of anyone who's made greater advances this year than Mike has. And Mike has his future pretty well planned. And for those of you who don't know, Mike's going to the service, and just I guess I'm just American just enough to look up to a serviceman. I really do. And Ken Clemens. I wonder if I'll ever see Ken without his camera around his neck, and I hope I don't. The picture that he took this year of the National Honor Society members and their parents, super. It appeared in your local paper. And Ken, I would appreciate it if you would give me a copy of that so I might hang it in my office. And Doug Coonan, heavenly days, how much entertainment has he furnished to us through the many years. He's also salutatorian of the class, member of the National Honor Society, and just one heck of a nice young American boy. And then John. You know, we could go on a long time about John, but and all of it good. But I would like to share with you that he was my top sociology student this year. And John's a fine student in many ways. So parents, be proud of your young Americans, even though they're victims of the American public education system. I'm very proud to be a member of the MP faculty. I'm also proud to be a teacher and a part of our American public education. We've got it going right here at MT. Let's cooperate and let's get it going even better. Have a good day and thank you.
I could follow, but I'd like to change my act just a little on behalf of the things that Dick just brought out as a guidance counselor. First of all, I've worked in both private and public schools. I've seen excellence in the private schools, and I've seen some poor things when you didn't have qualified teachers. In the public schools, I have seen some excellence, some real quality, and some capable students, and some excellent teaching. And to come forward today, I would say all of this hinges on two aspects. The first aspect is very important. Quality teachers who are accountable, do an excellent job, work with students, help motivate them to become successful and capable citizens of the future. Now, Mr. O'Brien mentioned citizenship. That is paramount. If we are to have an American democracy, our students that will be tomorrow's citizens are very important. The second part of our public educational system, or any educational system, hinges upon something Mr. O'Brien did not take from me, but he's taken from a long line of observation, and that is attitude. We have skilled students. We have capable students here at Missouri Learning. They have a good attitude toward learning, not only learning, but being a good citizen. What is citizenship? One thing is, when there is some difficulty, however small or large, in our school, I have been helped to do a good job with discipline. Most people say, well, discipline in Missouri Learning doesn't exist. It doesn't do much. You know why? Because the students have a good attitude and are good citizens. And we get support from the student council, which represents the students. And the teachers, Mr. Sales, or most importantly of all, the parents in the community. So we're hinging on two things. Quality teachers give us quality education with quality students. We have that, and we are, as Mr. Opine brought out, very specifically displaying and giving you the curriculum that is helping those students move into the next area of college, which could be academic, which could be vocational, which is the aspect I am moving into now. Because our presentation for the salutatorian and valedictorian contains two parts. First of all, the one that deals with the vocational. This means these students have academic preparation plus involvement in the vocational area. Now, I'm not bragging on any of the teachers. I am asking you, if you have any interest or points of interest, talk to that teacher, myself, Mr. Sales, and you will find when you go into their classrooms and you're involved with them, you have something to be proud of. And as a result of the help from the community, which wants this system they have, an excellent system, and the mothers and fathers who, I feel, being a mother and a father, not mother, is very important. Because without your support and helping your children, they wouldn't have gotten this far. And to the teachers, again, to the Board of Education, who works very diligently, and my superintendent, Mr. Sales, who puts that extra effort forward. Now, I want to move to the arena of which we all came to view. Those are two areas. First of all, we have 4 individuals that were selected by scholarship. Primarily, those two are vocational and academic. So for the runner-ups for the vocational academic, I will introduce first the vocational, Stacy, excuse me, better double check that. Renee Coonan is our vocational runner-up. So Renee, please stand for recognition. And next, our runner-up for the academic valedictorian, who is the president of the student council, who has a long line of assisting and working and organizing and helping run our school as a student, helping the other students be good citizens, and following the due process of the American system, representative democracy, Doug Koenig. And now, these individuals being very close as far as their runner-up categories for the area involving the vocational is Stacy Floyd. She has a speech for you.
Dear friends, relatives, parents, faculty, and classmates, through the years, an awful lot has happened to us. We've shared each other's troubles and have come out the better for it. Now the time has come for us to go out into the world for ourselves. For some, it will be going to college. For others, it will be working. And for others, it will be joining the armed forces. We must always remember the good times and all the friends we've made through the years, because we've come from pals to being the best of friends. There are so many things that we have shared with each other, whether it was playing Boys Chase the Girls, building floats, doing plays, or making ice cream. We're a united class and must never lose touch with each other. We've come from fighting every day to caring about what happens to each other. Sure, we disagree on a lot, but we've always found some way to work it out. Because of that, we must always remember, if you need someone to talk to and listen to you, just remember all the people you spend a good share of your life with. and don't be afraid to get in touch with them. Thank you.
Now, these students just learned when we were practicing Friday that they would be valedictorians. So these speeches are, in some instances, been being organized, but they were finalized over the weekend and up until now. So they're extemporaneous in some ways, but part of the student's philosophy. Next, when we go from what Mr. Opheim brought to you and what you've seen in the student handbooks and what the students have done in their accomplishment preschool up through the 12th grade, you've seen some subjects such as physics, chemistry, biology, trig, and going to an area which is probably the most difficult, not just in America, but in the world today, where nations live with each other, government. Some students have difficulty in our country passing government. It's very difficult. Some other areas involving athletics, which when you watch Mr. Ambo and the other people working in the athletic area, they structure our athletic program so the students know the specifics of the game. And they can go to other schools, they can transfer to other schools, or be involved in activities other than Missouri Thornton and excel in those sports. In the English department this year, we implemented a writing program where these students can excel in that area, as well as Shakespeare's works. We go right on into the vocational area involving accounting, business law, economics, and the stronger aspects of our capitalistic democracy, which is very, very important, because we are the leader in that in the world today. And a person that has gleaned and brought forth all these leadership qualities to the present, and we know and hope he will be able to project this along with the other students in the senior class in a good future and a success. He contains the hallmarks of this toward that success in the future. Mike Fisher, the valedictorian of the academic class.
Teachers, parents, grandparents, and friends, we welcome you to our graduation. We have spent the past years learning together throughout high school, junior high, and elementary. We have successfully fulfilled the requirements and are ready for our next challenge. The years have passed swiftly, and it seems only a short time has gone by since our 6th grade graduation. Now, as high school graduates, we are presented with opportunities that we should take. Are we prepared and ready to grab a good job, a further education that is offered to us? Or will we be relaxing, taking it easy, let these opportunities pass us by? We must ready ourselves for the future. Our motto is, the longest journey starts with a single step. In the present day of age, just getting a job that pays enough to support yourself is a long journey. With the economy the way it is and the high rate of unemployment, the job market for the senior class of 1983 doesn't look too bright. In today's society, people are getting more and more competitive over jobs, investments, and other things. Workers are becoming much more skilled in the jobs that they do. One teacher in our school said, "You can play my game, but you better be ready, because I plan to win." Think about this for a while. This is an attitude our society has. This is the attitude we all should leave our high school with. We should have a competitive spirit and a desire to win, a desire to be the best. Over the years, this desire to win has become even greater. Frankie Sullivan and Jim Peterick of the group Survivor wrote the familiar song, "Eye of the Tiger." This song describes the challenge a fighter has to put up with. A part of the song says, "It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rivals. And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night, and he's watching them all with the eye of the tiger." We have to watch our competitors to see that we are keeping up with them also. Perhaps the best idea is to stay one step ahead of your neighbor. Another popular song that describes the desire to win is a song by ABBA, Winner Takes It All. This song tells the truth about our competitive society by pointing out the fact that if we aren't the winner, what do we have? We probably have just lost out on a job or something else that's pretty important to us. If we keep a competitive spirit and a desire to win, we will make our longest journey. Our journey may seem to be impossible at first. The road may look unused with barriers to stop or slow us down. We can't let this hopelessness stop us. We must take that single step, one step forward at a time, and we can make our journey. We can attain our goals. I believe this single step should be taken immediately after graduation. This step could be further education, such as college or tech school. It could be an enlistment in one of our nation's armed services. There are several possibilities that we could take, and only we can decide which possibility is best for us to use us to help obtain our goals. Once we take the first single step and keep a competitive attitude, we can succeed. We can be successful and attain our goals. We all desire to be successful. Throughout the year, many of us laughed about being successful. Now we are out of school. We are faced with the problem of being successful. We all want to be successful. If we don't, we have a severe problem that should be solved. We must determine what success means to us. Does it mean money? Does it mean happiness? Does it just mean having a family and a bunch of kids? We must each determine this for ourselves and make this wish come true for us. I believe that with a competitive attitude combined with work, that each person in the Missouri Thornton senior class in 1983 can reach their goals if they try. Let's see our class be the most successful ever.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Stacy, and Doug, and Renee. With a good attitude, community backing, and parents that love their children, I can feel comfortable with the students that we're welcoming into a new era, and I'm sure with their innovations and skills and knowledge, they'll be able to help our country be a greater one and be good citizens. And now our superintendent, Mr. Sayles.
Diplomas, I would like to make, several announcements. First of all, due to the windy conditions and outside, we will be holding the receiving line out in the lobby. Again, we don't want anybody to be injured by being blown away. Secondly, for those of you who are interested in taking pictures as a student is receiving his or her diploma, the order will be as you see on the stage. We will start with Annette and go on down. I think John will be the last one to receive his. Thirdly, as I introduce each of the diploma recipients, I would like to ask that the parents of that student please stand and at least silently receive recognition for the fine job that they have done. Also, one other announcement, I would like to request that when the receiving line is formed and upon completion of the ceremonies here, that we allow the parents of the graduates to sneak through the line first. As I understand it, there are a few functions going on after the ceremonies here, and I'm sure they would appreciate being able to get home as soon as possible to prepare for the crowds they anticipate entertaining. Lastly, I would like to add my congratulations to the members of the senior class for achieving graduation today. Just summarize my feelings and about this class very briefly, I assure you. This class has come together this year and has performed rather remarkably. And I guess the thing that accents that statement for me is the fact that all the hard work they put in this year to raise money to enable them to take that senior class trip. If you had told me at the beginning of this year that the senior class was going to have as much money as they did in order to take the trip, I'd have said no way. But they proved me wrong. They've done a remarkable job. They've worked together And I am proud of their accomplishment. I hope they take pride in their accomplishments, both in the fundraising, but primarily in the academic areas. So with that, I'd like to ask Mr. Clemens to come to the podium. John, it's my pleasure to present to you, as president of the Missouri Thornton School Board, the class of 1983. These students have completed the academic requirements as prescribed by the State Department of Public Instruction and by our own local Board of Education. I recommend them to you for the degree commensurate with their accomplishment. Graduates, as I read your name, please come forward to receive your diploma. Annette Ann Statlander, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Edward Statlander. Renee Sue Coonan, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Byron Coonan. Michelle Marie Shaw, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth Shaw. Pamela Joy Haspany, daughter of Mrs. Geraldine Haspany. Stacy Jo Floyd, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Marius Floyd. Carrie Lynn Coolers, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Marlon Coolers. Marcia Lynn Butler, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Donald Butler. Deborah I. Dirks, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Dirks. Michael William Fisher, son of Mr. and Mrs. William Fisher. Bryce Lynn Anderson, son of Mr. and Mrs. Dave Anderson. Michael Joe Lerdahl, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ken Lerdahl. Jeffrey Lee Bertelson, son of Mr. and Mrs. Roger Bertelson. Michael Allen Leninger, son of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Leninger. Ken Eric Clemens, son of Mr. and Mrs. John Clemens. Douglas J. Coonan, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jake Coonan. John Eugene Sunken, son of Mr. and Mrs. Fred Sunken. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud and happy to present to you the graduates of the class of 1983.